honestly, it's like the monastery is happening there and I'm here. And as long as that happens, as long as I can separate myself from thinking that I get things done, and as long as I can think of myself as being blessed, simply to be considered worthy to say these empty words, oh boy, that everything will be perfect. I think my spiritual father often told me in the past, every time I complained that nothing happened, nothing is moving forward, he kept saying, yes, of course, because they have a great thing, the monastery has a great thing in its way. It's you. You are standing in the way because you think that you can get things done. Get it out of your head that you can do anything, and then just do the work. The way, I don't know, I imagine a bureaucratic worker works in an office. You know, you don't really see, you just sign a paper, but you don't really see what happens further. You get a paper from a department, you sign it, and you pass it on to another one. If you do that, and you are doing it with gratitude, and you receive it as an honor that God has included you in that link of departments, everything will flow. If you think that you are the doer and you are going to get that paper and go around and try to get people to sign it, you are just going to antagonize everyone and get in the way of the work. I think I had accepted a long time ago that I may not see anything happening beyond me being alone in that church. That's how I started. I had peace with that. And then with that peace, God is building these two monasteries around me. And I had no intention for that. All of that to say is that I've tried to do what Saint Morwana has done, which is every day of her life. Can you imagine a skinny nun just building a church on top of a cliff? Her whole life, that's what she did. She would go down at the base of the cliff, get a rock, and then climb all the way up and put it there. And then go down again, get a rock, and climb all the way there and put it there. And by the end of her life, she built the first Christian church for an area that didn't even have Christians. And for an area where people there, the pagans, were mocking her and oppressing her. And yet for their sake, she dedicated her entire life, day by day, rock by rock, having no idea whether or not those rocks will end up into a building. Just like, that worker in a department has no idea if that paper signs will ever turn into something. Don't allow the difficulties that you encounter to take you down. I believe that you are going to have the church that God wants you to have. And it may be exactly what you are praying for. It may be much more beautiful or much smaller, but that's His to decide. You need to put in the work, but at the same time, you need to accept in your heart that you may not live to see it. Somehow, the minute you make peace with that, not in a depressed way, I don't know if I explained that correctly, not as in, oh, I don't care anymore because I'm never going to see this happening. You still do the work, but in your heart, you are grateful for the work. You don't say, I'm going to be grateful once I see it built. Be grateful as if God has already given it to you. And then you are going to have a very meaningful life. And don't forget one more thing. Your lives are a lot more important than any building you can possibly build. There have been churches a lot more beautiful than the most beautiful dream you have found, and bigger and filled with thousands of people who are now deserted and collapsed. Look at all the churches that are abandoned in Western Europe. Come and see all those cathedrals that are now mostly banks, financial institutions, restaurants, private homes, even bars, restaurants, or nightclubs. Beautiful, extraordinarily beautiful cathedrals that once, people worked their hearts out to build up, and now they are nightclubs. They are not important, Father. What's important is that every single one of you and the next generation and the next generation, these souls are saved. That's what's important. God doesn't need walls. I'm not saying that to put you off from trying. I say try 10 times harder, but retain a free heart from it somehow.